Guys, it's the June Live. I'm so excited about this one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting Tall Man Moto Live. I'm Tall Man. I'm the Tall Man of Tall Man Moto. I'm super excited to have you all here. It's June. We have a whole lot to talk about. We're diving into Touratech. So we're going to talk about Touratech Rally West and the history of it and what it takes to create an event of that size. I have a little bit of marketing and, well, I have a lot of marketing, but I have a little bit of event planning within my career field. So this one's super exciting for me because I know the labor and the intensity that goes into this. So I'm excited to talk about it. And then after we wrap up this super exciting interview, we're going to talk about the new Himalayan, guys, because they dropped some photos of it, and I'm curious. So we're going to get into a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I see a couple of new names lurking in the comments. We've got the regular crowd. Mike's here. Critter's here. Who else is here? Sideways Stan. Hello. Hi. Sean and Ashley says first time on a Tall Man Moto Live. Hello, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shameless plug for me. And guys, this is gonna be fun. I'm super excited. Tourist on Two Wheels is just lurking. Not really here, just lurking. That's good. I like to sometimes lurk in the background. That's not true. I like to be right up front in all of the things. So keep your comments professional. We've got a moderator sitting in the background, and he'll drop the band hammer on you. He's small, so don't test him. He loves to exert power. He's going to get really excited. It's time to be a big boy. Anyways, let's get to our guest because I'm super stoked. So with us today, we have the director of marketing. I already messed it up. You know what? I've got a whole thing here, and I did not write down his formal title. Matt, you are the director of marketing and what?
Events.
Oh, that's just it?
I'm the
I said
marketing and events director for Touratech USA.
Marketing and events director. That's it. That's the word I was missing.
Yeah.
I said that's it like it's not that big of a job.
Yeah,
Matt Lewis, hello, and welcome to the Tall Man Moto Live.
How's it going, man? Super excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about you. So you've been with Touratech for 11 years now, correct?
Yeah, about 10 and a half years. I've been with Touratech, and before, I've got a background in events and music and marketing, and it all kind of came together with motorcycles in, a long time ago, 2014. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. We've built the rally from a very small thing to a very big thing, and it's been cool to grow it. So
yeah, let's dive into it. So tell us a little bit about the history of Touratech West.
So Touratech Rally West started. It's kind of a debate in the office. Some people say 2010, some people say 2011, because there weren't very many people there. But basically, the owner of Touratech USA is a guy named Tom Myers, and he has some property out up in the Cascades, and so kind of for a customer appreciation event is what it has started out, or what it started out as. They invited local riders and customers that we knew to go out and have a camp out and ride in the mountains out there. I mean, it's unlimited riding where we live. So that's kind of how it started. And it, they connected with some other folks in the industry the first couple of years, and they co-did it with the guys at Rawhide. And then it kind of sat there. We moved to our current location of Plain, Washington in 2013, I believe, and we actually shared about a third of the space that we're using now. We split it with the Northwest Overland Festival. And that's what we were doing. My first year there, I think the Touratech Rally had, I want to say 147 attendees the first year that I was there. And then it's just kind of, they brought me in to build it bigger, and that's what we've done. there we are. So now it takes up this big, huge farm in Plain, Washington, and we don't share it with Overland Festival at all anymore. And
Yeah, so you mentioned that. So Touratech used to be the same time and space as the Overland Expo?
Yeah,
Oh, that's wild.
we split everything, and that was kind of one of the things. My first year there, I kind of didn't I planned all of our stuff, but I didn't really know what to expect because it was my first time, and then these Overland folks were there, and they were good people, but there were a lot of trucks and things, going around, and so my first big switch was we're getting away from sharing the space, and we're going to try to keep things with 4 wheels away from things with 2 wheels, and it let us spread out a bit, and yeah, so it I don't think that event's actually happening this year, but the Overland Festival isn't happening this year, but ours is in 2 weeks from today, actually. So 2 weeks from today, we will all be probably at this time at the riders meeting. So hopefully we're ready.
Probably one to 3 beers in.
Yeah, maybe.
So as of right now, how many riders do we have signed up for the event?
We have, it's looking like we're going to end up with about 1,400 riders, not including volunteers, vendors, and the demo trucks.
So let's get into all those. So about how many vendors do we have?
I'm going to just say we're going to have over 50 vendors, and then we're going to have 6 OEMs.
And about how many presenters?
24, I believe.
How many volunteers?
125.
So with all of those,
160 volunteers. So.
All of those numbers, you're the guy responsible for coordinating all of them to make a cohesive
Pretty
event.
much, yeah.
How do you do this?
Well, a lot of it goes to my right-hand lady and assistant, Tracy Jeffries, who's been working with me for a very long time on this, and she kind of deals with all of the vendors for us, and she and I spend a lot of time talking and making each other feel better when things get stressful and stuff, and so she kind of wrangles the vendors, and there's a lot to that, and the same with the OEMs, and we get all those folks together, and the volunteers. To be a volunteer at our event, you pretty much just need to sign up, and we start that when we begin registration in November. So a lot of people sign up right away. Like usually all the volunteer slots are full within the first month, and then we kind of gets a little fluid after the first year, and people cancel and things like that. So and we really overbook our volunteers because somebody might say they're coming in January and then not. So I try to book out about 30% more than I expect to actually show up, because the worst thing that you can have at an event like this is lack of bodies to help. And even, when we get past the first day and a half or so, when everything's just really chaotic and everyone's showing up and camping and doing all that, you might see volunteers just kind of hanging out, sitting around, but they're where they're supposed to be. And sometimes they'll be like, well, they're doing that thing over there. I really want to go see it. Can I go? I'm just sitting here, but we really need you to just sit there because it's just part of the safety and everything that goes with it. So
you haven't answered a question in an hour, but as soon as you walk away, 9 people will show up.
Yeah. And you just don't know what's going to happen. And, I think if you're at attendance at something like our event, the more of those people in yellow shirts that you see, the more kind of taken care of, I guess you might feel.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether they're helping you or not, it's just nice to know that there are people paying attention. And so our volunteers are awesome, and they show up. And I'm not even talking about the ride volunteers. That's a whole nother animal. But
yeah, we're
our yellow shirters, man, they spend a lot of time sitting out in the sun and everything. So if you're coming to the rally, be nice to the volunteers.
Yeah. Take the time to say thank you to those people, because they're there to make the event work.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
what are the requirements while we're on volunteers? What are the requirements somebody can just send an email and sign up? What do you have to do?
So to volunteer, we basically kind of have this, we use a signup.com thing, and it's all set up in shifts, and you're required to work either 2 4-hour shifts or 1 all-day shift, or 1 8-hour shift. It depends. But like I have team coming in, and all they're going to do is lay out on a couple days before the event, where we tape out all the roads and where everything's going. And then the next days, so that's a whole team of volunteers, and they put in a full day. It sucks, and then they're done for the weekend. And they get to come 2 days early and pick out where the best place to put their tent is and all that. Then the Wednesday people come in, and they're like our setup team. There's about probably 25 or so of them that will help putting up tent signs, flags, making swag bags, like you name it. Like they're doing it. And so they'll work all day on Wednesday, and then they're done for the weekend. And then usually our folks that are working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they'll do like a 4-hour shift, hypothetically like 10 to 2 on Friday and noon to 4 on Saturday or something like that. And then our cleanup crew, what I always tell people when they ask is, if I was a volunteer, I would be on the cleanup crew, because it might suck getting up early on Sunday, but our goal is to be done very fast. My team, our Touratech staff, is done and ready to go home after being out there for a week for a lot of us. So it can usually be a pretty short shift if everybody shows up. So
yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
So when do you start planning a specific year's rally?
A little bit now. I mean, we've got the site confirmed for next year. So that, I guess, is step one, but we really get going. We build out the website starting in October to open registration in November. All of the permitting and the leases and that stuff kind of happens in there, but I don't really get into the hard paperwork stuff until after we've at least launched the website and have it up there and start promoting it and stuff like that. So, because you can't, for an event like this, you can't lock down your insurance. Even sometimes it can take until March, right? So you're really hoping you can get that insurance because your event's sold out, and and so things like that. But like our forest permit, that's a 5-year thing, and we provide them with our tracks. Actually just sent those in yesterday for them to approve and tell us, sometimes they'll say, this route looks great, except for, there's fire potential, or we decided we don't want anybody, that many motorcycles up there at any given time or whatever. We can't really question them if they say, don't do this. We have to
talk a little bit about that. 'Cause I think a lot of people don't know about specifically that. So just kind of give me an overview. Who are you sending those tracks into?
So we work with the U.S. Forest Service, and they've got an office up in the Leavenworth, Washington area, which is about 20 miles from our event. And they manage the trail systems and everything up in the Wenatchee Forest up there, and so what we do with them, it's and it's all actually public land. And our event's not taking place on site. For us, it's more, we just want to work in harmony with them, and we want them to know that there's going to be a bunch of people riding out there, and you're not generally going to see giant groups of riders or anything like that, because our event's pretty spread out as far as where guys are. But we just want to stay in touch with them and in tune with them and let them know what's going on. We don't want people to show up someplace and say, they gated this, they said we can't, and that kind of stuff. So it's really just, I think the more you can work with, as far as, whether it's government agencies or, even the local government agencies in the little area of Plain that we work in, the sheriff's department, the fire department, any of the public entities, I think will just make things easier for everybody. We just don't want it from us, we want to be stewards of the land that we're using, and we want to promote that. And so I think being in communication constantly with folks is the best way to do it, and we've done, in past years, we've sent in our tracks, and a lot of the time this year's been a little better because it's been dry up there. But in past years, we've had, major snowfall, so we couldn't even get up there we think we know what the routes are, but then we can't get up past the snow line to see if there's trees that need to be cut or whatever. And so, sometimes we have turned our tracks in like 4 days before the event, and we've literally the day before the event gotten a note that said, you guys need to not do this or go a certain direction or whatever. And it just kind of pause. And there's been a couple of times where we've just said we can't do that, so we've just eliminated the route.
Yeah.
So
I was out last year. I was out on Sugarloaf, I think, first weekend in June, and there was still a bunch of snow and ice up there, and then it was completely dry.
Yeah.
3 weeks, 4 weeks later. Yeah, it's wild in June how much that terrain fluctuates.
Yeah, our guys, their first time out was 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then they were out again last weekend, and we'll have some guys out there this weekend as well.
I've been following Jeremy Sykes's photos and updates. I'm very excited about a couple of those routes.
Yeah, they're cool. They do a killer job. Will, he's our Touratech ride coordinator, and it's his second year doing it. And we've got like 40 ride volunteers that, these guys put tons of time in. They volunteer the whole weekends riding up there, and it sounds awesome, and I'm sure the riding's great, but I'm sure you've seen pictures of guys moving logs and cutting things. And
there's a lot of cleanup that has to go into it sometimes.
Yeah.
So how does somebody become a ride volunteer? Is that something that you can sign up for?
Yeah, it's kind of the same way we do the regular volunteers. When we announce, if you get the Touratech USA newsletter, that's a great way to get information. You can sign up for that on our website, but we'll send out a thing that says, if you would like to be a volunteer, click on here. If you want to be a ride volunteer, click here. And then, will contact the person and just to touch base, because a lot of people want to do it, but we need people that are high level as far as whether they can use GPS tracks and navigation. And, we can't have people out there getting lost or potentially leading groups at the event and not knowing what they're doing. So we're pretty, we're pretty particular about who's doing it. It's not just sign up and show up. There's a level of experience that probably goes into that.
So while we're talking about routes, and we'll get a little bit more into this later, but a question from some random person. Routes are directional this year? Routes.
Sure. Depends on what part of the country you live in, right? Up here it's routes. So the routes are directional. Yes. And the reason is, if they are not directional, some of these bikes are pretty big, and we can't control what everybody's doing all the time. And it's safer if we know people are going in specific directions. Plus, if there's something, happens on the trail and we need to get somebody out there to help, we can't be struggling with traffic or anything like that. You don't get tons of traffic, but usually if there's an accident, well, I don't want to say usually, but oftentimes when there's an accident, somebody's coming around a corner the wrong way, not riding right.
Right.
Yeah, as our friends at the BDR promote, and we do too. So it's a safety thing, and we work as well with the OEMs that are doing demos, because we've got a demo route that needs to go in a specific direction as well. So it's just about communication. We'll talk about that stuff at the riders meeting. We'll go over it again, but the thing is that the majority of the riding that happens at our event is self-guided. We have guided rides for each of the routes, and for some of the ones that aren't as difficult or long. Maybe some for newer riders and things like that. We'll have more group led rides. But there are going to be folks out there riding, doing their own thing, and we just really encourage them to follow the tracks that we set up and go in the direction that they're asking, because everybody thinks they're safe and they're a pro rider and they're awesome at what they're doing, but you just don't know who's coming around the corner. So
I know I'm terrible. So
yeah. And there's other riders that don't have anything to do with our event that are up there riding too. And they're the ones, there's not as many of them as us. And so if a few of them are coming the opposite way, nothing we can do about that, but we really want to minimize that. So
how are these routes picked?
It's kind of a template in a way at this point. Ian Glenn, who was with us for a long time and kind of was the originator of a lot of the routes that we kind of build off of, set it up pretty good. And so what we do is we take, our guys look at all the routes that we've used in the past and just kind of build off of them and say, hey, we've never, gone this way. Let's go look at that and see if that's doable. But a lot of them, the entrances are a lot the same, and we don't want to rewrite the book, and so we try to do things to kind of keep them fresh. But a lot of it, people want to do Tyee and do a lot of these routes that have been around for a while, and so we want to make them available. And so
I highly recommend and don't advise at all at the same time to do Tyee. So speaking of Tyee, let's talk difficulty rating. So there is a logical rating system that you all use. These routes are numbered, and the number is the difficulty, right? So we've got 1, 2, whatever the number is this year, because I hear we're adding a few.
This year there's 11 routes this year.
Okay. Is Tyee still in the running?
I'm not really sure. I believe it is. I think I saw that on there.
I think I heard it's not there. We can't do it this year, guys. So sorry, darn. Darn.
So a little bit of behind the curtain is, a big part of the event is insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot do the Touratech Rally unless we can get coverage. And so some of the concern was, hey, this specific route, not Tyee, but one of our more difficult ones last year, and we changed the names of them every year. So,
okay.
But it was like 162 miles, and they were like,
oh yeah, I know which one you were talking about.
We don't want you guys. People get tired. Day 1 they ride it. Day 2, how exhausted are they? And you'd like to have this big epic single track and all that.
Yeah.
We want to make that available for folks, but we have to be safe and we have to be smart and we have to do what we're asked to do. So some of, there's not going to be that giant epic adventure thing. I mean, the routes are killer, and I know that our guys are super stoked about them, but that's something that just kind of went away this year. And
you could take the easiest track and it's still just amazing riding. The riding out there, if anybody hasn't been, is incredible. Just really top-notch dual sport and adventure bike riding. So how are we determining the difficulty scale? So what are you guys looking at considering when dropping all those?
You're probably looking at, the higher difficulty is going to have more single track, going to be probably a little bit longer in places. There's definitely going to be a very, very minimum amount of like the regular fire road stuff. It's just going to be more technical. And it's maybe more rocks and things like that. But I would just say that probably the easiest way is the higher the level, the more technical it's going to be. And we don't want anybody doing those alone. The harder ones, we always encourage that, if you're going on any of them, honestly, you should try to bring somebody with you. But if you're going someplace where you're really, 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 really going off the beaten path and out there, you should have somebody with you and tell people that you're doing it and those kind of things. So,
and in reach for sure if you're going solo.
yeah.
So let's say I'm Johnny New Rider. I just bought an adventure bike. I've never actually been off road.
Did you get a Himalayan?
But I probably just bought a Himalayan.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do a wheelie, but I'm really terrified to let the clutch out. But I heard about this event called Touratech, and I'm going. I'm showing up Thursday, ready to go. I've never ridden it on dirt. Do we have options for people like that?
So, yeah, like the lowest couple of level rides are pretty much going to be all like forest service roads, so like gravel roads, right? So not I guess you could call it dirt, but it's you're on roads, right? And there's going to be some more pavement getting to them and coming back from them and things like that. So they're really like basic, you're not going to be bouncing around and that kind of a thing.
Not designed for a Harley Softail, but those 1300 BMW guys can feel like they're real adventure bikers.
Yeah, but a Harley Softail might be able to do one of those.
Okay, just in case.
Yeah, I've seen one at our event before, and I'm pretty sure he did at least one of the rides. So
good for him.
But yeah, there's another option at our thing if you're just like literally just figuring it out is we have 2 schools teaching on site, so you can sign up and take a beginner. We've got a ladies only by She ADV, and then the guys at Dirt Bike Safety Training are on site, and they've got, I think, level 3, either 2 or 3 levels of training going this year too.
I think it's 3 this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can walk up usually and find a spot in a class. And I mean, they're killer classes, killer teachers we know them both very well. And Dirt Bike Safety Training is our Touratech's official training partner.
He's really got an incredible theory and setup behind what he's teaching too.
Mm-hmm.
I have been very impressed, and even just listening to him talk for half an hour and the way that he presents this information, the way that he talks about just interacting with the bike, you can listen to him for 20 minutes and I guarantee you're going to walk away with something that you never thought of in just how you interact with the bike. Yeah. He's incredible. The She ADV is amazing too.
And you can, they're available. You can usually walk up on, we suggest that you pre-sign up for the classes, but they both have added classes this year. So there's opportunities for sure.
Okay.
So, but there's something for everybody. A couple of years ago, a woman came up to me at some point during the event and was like, we're really new. We've never been here before, and it's cool, but we're new, and it's just, we're having a hard time, like really even knowing how to do this or what to do. And it really kind of stuck with me. So I guess that was 3 years ago, because 2 years ago we started like really trying to funnel a lot more energy into newer riders and newer attendees. So we increased the amount of lead rides for routes 1 through 4. So newer riders can go with groups. And I think a lot of newer riders prefer to do that. And then, because you've got somebody leading, somebody behind you to make sure that if, you need help or are confused or whatever, they can help you. And we've got like hold on one second. We've got like we call it the new attendee orientation, which happens opening night, where it's like an hour. The lovely and talented Eva Rupert hosts it, and it's just a chance to ask questions and where are the showers? Where do I do this? How do I do this? Just it's, we try to dumb it down as much as possible and just make it so everybody knows what's going on, and it's hard to do. It's a big event and there's a lot going on, and we want everybody to, when it's over, go, that was awesome, and I'm coming back next year. That's the goal. So
what are some things to consider if you are a newer rider? Let's say your single biggest piece of advice. Somebody's either a newer rider or just never been to Touratech before. Maybe they're a little bit of an introvert. What's the advice?
First, buy all your gear from Touratech USA. And then
Okay.
We can take care. And then after that, when you get to the event, you know, I think that the cool thing is you can have a really good time and not be, you know, we're not forcing anybody into groups of strangers or anything like that. You can really float around. I mean, you know, Tall Man Moto is going to be presenting at 3 o'clock on that
I
Saturday.
will. We will get to my shameless plug
Yes,
100%,
at
but
the
I do
event.
recommend people come.
Starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, there's literally 2 tents with presentations going on, overlapping each other all day nonstop until 10 o'clock at night, right? There's constantly stuff to do. And, you know, I mean, there's a ton of vendors to talk to. If I was showing up and didn't know anybody, I think I'd go do a couple of demo rides, try out some new bikes, and you know, if you got a brand new bike and aren't very experienced on it, then who cares if you try another bike? You know, just try them. And another good thing, you know, it's volunteer. It's a great way to meet people and kind of be. Sometimes people just want to be forced into a situation. I've had volunteers say, "Can I work at the gate? Because I want to meet everybody that comes in. You know, I'm new. I've never been here before and stuff." And plus, you know, it's a camping situation. So if you ride to the event and you're sleeping in a tent for a few days, you know, there's people all around you. We try to give enough space. We added some space this year, a little bit. So because we don't want you to be right on top of each other in the camping area, where the tents are, but you know, and just in that situation, I think you're going to interact with people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff to do and watch and be entertained by. And there's events on Friday and Saturday night. We've got Friday night's the big slow race event, and then, the Friday night's the big challenge course event, which is totally different this year in a different place.
Oh, really?
And then the next night's the slow race. Real quick on that. Donnie Reddington is a good friend of ours. Was a professional photographer, and she was almost every single rally, and anything that we've posted probably from the rally the last maybe 10 years was her stuff. And she was a teacher and an incredible rider. And she won it a few times, but she unfortunately passed away this past year.
Oh.
And so the new trophy for the event is called the Donnie Reddington Cup. So the winner of the slow race from here through into perpetuity will win the Donnie Reddington Cup for the slow race champion. I think she won it twice. So we're proud about that. So, but the challenge course, we have changed it. It was in the woods. We have that's another thing. We have an on-site little I think it's 4-acre track that we put together. Excuse me. Actually, Jason from Dirt Bike Safety Training does it for us, and that's within the trees. And so from 10 to 4, you can go kind of ride through this kind of practice track, and there's some pretty tricky stuff in there, but there's workarounds as well. So
that is on my to-do list this year for the first time. So.
There's a professional photographer in there who we're paying to shoot people with a camera all weekend and upload the images. And then you can go and get really cool pictures of yourself going through the thing and download them and share them and do all that stuff. So
the only reason I'm going to do it is to try and look cool. So perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at the big array from last year, and there's some really some pretty good ones. He didn't stop shooting even when people were picking up their motorcycles. So.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Those are the ones I want. Make me look cool, and then you got to swipe on Instagram and see that I just ate it real good.
But if you go in there, to anybody that wants to do it, you should. Everybody should go through there at least once. It can be as challenging as you want, but it's, you know, the order, you know, when we're talking about what are we doing in there, you know, what I always say is I want it to be accessible to every single rider, no matter what their experience level is. So, you know, if there's some, you know, sand pit with logs in it or something, there's also a go around for it. So you can challenge yourself however you'd like to in there. And we have a marshal that's on site the entire time with eyes on everybody to make sure that everybody's safe and stuff. So
in the chat, if anybody has questions about Touratech, how it's made, what's happening at the event this year, drop those in now. We've got probably another 15-20 minutes here with Matt, and then we're going to give him the heart out as we always do. So if you've got questions, drop them in the chat. Paul says, would you say you need a particular set of skills to volunteer? I'm just going to go ahead and answer this one. Paul, just basic understanding of instructions. You know, if you tell me to pick up the sign, I'm going to pick up the sign. I don't think it's much more difficult than that, though.
Not really. I've seen some funny things. But
are wheelies required for volunteering?
No wheelies. You never want to see wheelies at the Touratech.
No wheelies.
No wheelies. We are trying very hard to, on site and off site. We want everybody to be safe. Never be without a helmet. Whatever's required on the roads is exactly what's required on site. If you're speeding, we'll give you one warning. If we see you doing it again, we'll give you your money and make you leave. On site, off site, we're sharing this little tiny town. It's a one street town called Plain, Washington, and it's got a hotel, a store, and a restaurant, and I think a laundromat in there, and that's it. And then there's a bunch of people that live in the hills around there, and some of our routes actually go through these neighborhoods to get to where they enter the trail system. And so, that's another. People get out there on their bikes and they just want to go. Yeah. And we really, really, really ask that folks that are offsite riding just respect what's going on. And there's always that asshole out there that does a thing, and then the police will show up and they're all nice, and we know the sheriff and everybody, and they love the event. This is the biggest thing that happens up there all year, and we bring a ton of business to them and to the Leavenworth area and stuff, and everybody's pretty much behind it, but we have to.
Yeah, that's not an entitlement to act like a jerk, though. Ride like you're riding through your Southern grandma's neighborhood. Be respectful.
Exactly.
I will 100% jump on this. So before we transition topics real quick, I do just want to jump out for all of those awkward, socially uncomfortable people who will be at the rally this year, possibly for the first time. Come find me. Come talk to me. I will bring your little introverted self in. I won't be too crazy unless I've had enough beers. Responsibly at the end of the evening, thank you. But I do know a little introverted buddy who would be more than happy to talk to you in the introverted code. Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to start talking. I was so extroverted of you. So yeah, between the two of us, come find one of us, come talk to us. We are more than happy to befriend you and make it all a little less awkward. So
everybody, really hold on one second. To add on to that, everybody that shows up for the first time gets a yellow pen that says Rally Rookie in the year on it. And you're only a Rally Rookie one time, right? And so we ask that riders that have been coming for years and know what's going on, if, we want people to, how you doing? How's it going? Is that, we want people to check in and do it that way. And then when you come back next year, we won't give you a Rally Rookie pin, and we hope that you pass on what you know to other people. So
I felt all the introverts watching this now, or in hindsight, just curl up at the idea of being singled out. But no, that's good. That's do it. Wear the pin.
We try to create ways to connect with other riders. If you're on site and you want to go do Route 5, but you don't want to go by yourself and you really don't know anybody, we'll help you connect. And the app that we'll send out next week also has ways. Each route's got a little message board on there, so you can I'm Matt and I'm going to do Route 5 and I've got the GPS tracks and I'm leaving at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Meet me at, and each route's got a little sign on the field for people to meet there to go ride. So we're trying. It's not a perfect system, but we try.
It's getting pretty dialed in.
Yeah. Well, please come find me if you need somebody to pull you up on stage and have your name announced. We could get everybody to know you really fast that way as well.
And nobody talked to you all weekend. So this is a good question. I've had it come up a couple of times over the years that I've been going. One big apprehension that I think a lot of people have is the number of people that go. Mm-hmm. So to somebody who hasn't gone before is kind of on the fence, but the idea of 1,400 riders make some. What do you say? I have thoughts, but what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it really, I guess it depends on what kind of experience you're looking for. I think, we think of our CEO, Paul Gillian, has described it as like the adventure motorcycle family reunion, right? It's like all these people that just come together and hang out and ride. But, I personally freaking hate crowds. Don't like them, don't want to be in them. It's weird that this is my job, right? so so that's something to keep in mind. But what I can tell you is you're never going to be, when you're on your motorcycle, you're never going to feel like, wow, there's too many people at this event. It's so like the riding, there's so many miles of trails that unless you go with a group, you might pass some folks here and there, but it's not going to be like you're waiting in line for people to go or something like that. And if you're camping in a tent, I mean, it's definitely, it's a field with tents and motorcycles. And, we try to give everybody space so you can be spread out. But, one thing that I hate, I tell the people that work with me all the time, I just hate lines. I don't like them. I don't want you to come to an event and have to stand in one. I mean, it's going to happen at the merchandise tent or the swag bag pickup and that kind of stuff, and that initial push in. But we don't want lines at the food places, which is why we have food trucks instead of catering, right? Instead of buying meal passes, you can just eat whenever you want. And we want to make it so that you can do your own thing. And honestly, you could come to the event, camp out in your tent, way over in the corner, get the routes and go ride your motorcycle and never talk to anybody the entire weekend if you wanted to.
There are people that do that.
Yeah, there are definitely people that do that.
Yeah.
So it's really what you want. I mean, it's not a big party. I mean, there's definitely some partying going on, but we have a curfew in town too, and we can only go till 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it goes a little bit later on that last night, but there's not big live music going. It's not like, other events where they're building around what's happening up on the big stage and things like that. It's really just a big camp out to go ride your motorcycle and hopefully learn some stuff and see people like yourself that are putting cool content out there or have cool stuff to share. I mean, it's cool, but to that person, I hate crowds too. And I'm the one that's planning this whole thing. So I have you in mind, I promise. So,
next question, are campfires allowed? No.
There's a burning ban right now, and I'm going to send out a link to it. We're sending out the big, huge, here's everything about everything email on this coming Tuesday. And that will have a link to what the rules of the burning ban are. There are some, if you've got some like a gas, something with an on-off switch and no fuel and no combustible fuel like pellets or wood, that's potentially okay, but we're not going to make the final call until the week of. The landowner, they have it's a working farm, and so we have to follow whatever the county regulates at the time. And right now, I mean, there hasn't been rain in like a month up there, so and it's a hay field, so one match could make for a major CNN news story. So we got to be careful.
So Tourist on Two Wheels asks, what about those that get up at 5 and fall asleep at 8? When is coffee available? Do you guys offer coffee in the mornings?
Yeah, we've got I think 2 different coffee choices, and I don't know that they open at 5, but they open early. I know that. The restaurant across the street, and when I say across the street, it is literally
across the street.
You can see it if you look through the trees.
We walk there every morning.
Yeah, it opens at 6:30. And there's also a little hardware store right next to it that has, a lot of people don't realize it, but has a full espresso setup in there too. So there are coffee options. I'm a 5 o'clock in the morning person too, and there are no coffee options at 5, but soon afterwards there are. Usually you can smell coffee around that time.
You just make your own, Tourist. Just make your own.
Yeah.
Critter wants to know how many food trucks this year.
How many food trucks this year? Well, if you go to touratechrally.com, it's all on there. But let me tell you, I've got it right in front of me, and we've got Taquiera El Tapacio. This is their, I believe, 8th straight year doing the tacos and burritos. And we've got Roxy's Smash Burgers, D's Beans. The Moto Chef is doing fried chicken. What You Got Cooking? I'm not sure what they did a bunch of different plates of stuff each day last year. The Lost Pig Cafe is a Leavenworth restaurant that's coming out. And we've got the Shaved Ice guy there again, and Bold Coffee Roasters from Oregon is going to be up too. So, and if anybody knows a freaking wood-fired pizza truck that we can somehow get to the rally, we had one a couple of years ago. They came, they sold out in one day, and we can't get them back because it's really hard to get these big trucks to come up the mountain.
Good.
I know, it was awesome, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're in the market for that. So
look, Kirk, we're not bringing that up big. Don't tell people about that. That's a thing you learn by going and supporting the businesses. Nobody look in the comments right now. I will say the meal next door, delicious. Really good food.
It's really good food, and they're very
quick
nice
too.
People. Yep.
Yeah, super nice people.
It's taken them a few years to get it kind of dialed in, but I think they have it dialed in. But we do encourage you to eat most of your meals to the trucks that are traveling, some of them very far distances.
That is true.
At our event.
Yeah. So. Yes. Okay, so let's see. We are up at the tail end here. Let me see if there's any of the final questions. We talked about the best way to get involved as a volunteer, instructor, sponsor. What if somebody wants to present next year?
That it's kind of the same. You can email me through our website, or you can also when I send out kind of our initial registration opens, it'll have, do you want to be a rally volunteer? Are you interested in being a presenter? I get a lot of folks that are interested, and we kind of have to go through them a little bit and try to keep it fresh every year. There's definitely folks that I bring back each year. A couple of our kind of hands-on, Jesse Murphy does a great brake clinic. He's there every year doing the brake clinic. I mean, there's a few of those folks that we try to get every year, but we really try to turn it over. Like next year, I promise I'm going to let's see how you do, but I'm going to probably ask you to come again and do it next year. And what I try to do is keep it on a 2 or 3 year cycle with people. And so that way it's not just the same faces every year and stuff. Did I tell you which specific OEMs are going to be at the event this year?
No, not yet.
All right. We've got Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, Harley Davidson, Zero is there for the first time this year, and CF Moto is going to be there. Royal Enfield was supposed to be there, and they ended up not being able to do it. And
if Royal Enfield is not there, does that mean that Tiger's not there? That is the same dealership that comes out, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Royal Enfield was going to bring their whole
No rally pros.
I could be wrong because
I hope
Tracy, my Tracy will have all the direct details on that stuff. There's one other thing that if I have time, can I?
You always have. I am not kicking you off the stage like we talked about. I just want to make sure that you have the option to leave. You are welcome to stay as long as you want.
Oh, my wife and kid left the house, so
Oh, perfect.
One thing that we're going to be doing this year, and so I'm giving folks a little bit of heads up on it, is so part of our going back to locking down insurance was every year it kind of gets a little bit harder. And this year was really hard. And there's actually some other events around the country that aren't happening because they just couldn't lock down their insurance coverage. Some things have shifted in the industry, and I'm not going to get into all that. But one thing that they were concerned about was, well, when people leave your property, how do we know what happens and all that? And we were like, well, we're not really sure. after they leave our property, aren't they just people that left the property going out to ride their motorcycles, you know? And so in order for us to try to add another level of safety, what we're doing is when you get your swag bag this year,
which I'm a fan of.
What's that? Yeah,
which I'm a fan of.
Of course. You'll get your, you're going to get a little like kind of phone cord, like wrist thing, or you can put it on your bike or you can put it on your wrist. But it'll have a little tag on it. And so when you leave the property and come back to the property, it'll ping us each way. So if somebody goes out far, far away and has some problems and their friends come and say, hey, Bob went out, he's not back, we can like look and see, is Bob, did he show up again and just go out to dinner or what's going on here? And so that will help us just kind of track folks coming in. It's basically a digital check-in, check-out kind of a thing. We're not tracking anybody off the property, but you know, and it's not going to be, we know it's not going to be a perfect system. I mean, anybody can go for a ride and say, hey, let's go to Wenatchee and get a hotel for the night and swim in a pool or whatever, you know? And I mean, there's nothing we can do about that, but if there is concern about an individual rider or something, you know, which happens on occasion, you know,
we've had rides where somebody ends up just separated, and then kind of the general consensus is they know what they're doing. Like, let's go make sure they didn't end up back like at the event. I think that happened the second year we were there. But yeah, I mean, people get separated. It's nice to be able to come in and go straight somewhere and say, hey, are they here?
Yeah. And so
that's clever.
We're working with a company that does marathons. They do like the split tracking on marathons.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I reached out, I was like, so they have no idea what they're getting into, you know? so it's going to be a little
take your equipment and use it in a whole new way.
Well, it's going to make getting the swag bags, we're attaching it. We're basically making it when you get your swag bag, that's when you get your little tag thing. And so that we're going to try our best to make that as smooth an operation as possible, but we can't I can't pre-assign you one because it's like 1,500 of these little things. And so it's going to be like, here's your tag, your number 1, 2, 3, 4. We put it in the system and off you go. So when you get to the event, come get your bag. Don't wait and then go when everybody's going, which is probably what's going to happen, but we're going to try to work it through. So
another question, he's already planning for next year. What are next year's dates?
We will announce those in 2 weeks at the Touratech Rally.
See, look at that.
And the hotel across the street is already booked, so sorry about that.
Is everyone getting one of these AirTag situations?
Everyone is going to be asked to wear one. We're not going to force anybody to do it, but we are asking that everybody do that, knowing that it's part of us being able to keep having the event is doing things like this. So,
and then unofficially, Owen says, as long as there's no actual running involved, he's okay with it.
Yeah.
I second that notion.
Yeah, it'll be an added thing. It's honestly my biggest stressor this year. As I was saying earlier, I don't like lines, and I really am hoping that goes smoothly. But we've been working on it, so hopefully we will. And I told you we're moving the course out of the woods. The wood track.
Where's it going to?
Woods track will still be in there. So if you've ever been to the event where all the vendors are, that's where it's going to be, where the slow race takes place. So it's going to be different in that it's not going to have a bunch of like off-road kind of obstacles things. We're not going to dig the field. We're not going to create a sand pit or anything like that. It's going to be more kind of going around cones, and there'll be a few little kind of tweaks and twists to it, but we really want everybody that comes to feel like I at least am going to try that. And if you know, in past years, the track was killer, but I mean, it's also a little bit daunting if you're maybe a newer rider. So we're trying to do it in a way that, everybody feels like they can do it. And
more opportunity. There's
some very experienced riders. We were talking about this today. There's some very experienced riders that maybe don't have the best balance in the world. And there's some brand new riders that just have intrinsically killer balance, and so, you know, there will be some balance, but none of it will be like off the course. Everything will be on a flat surface. Then more people can also see it. I think being in the trees, people that have never been there don't know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, they don't want to walk over.
Past years went through all the trees where our track was, and so a big group of people could see it, but then you couldn't see it all. And so so now everybody will be able to see it all and stuff. So I'm excited. I think it's good to change stuff up and just do things differently, and hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah. So My Motorcycle Adventures says Touratech East Coast going to be a thing in the future. Isn't it already a thing now?
So we have Touratech Dirt Days in New Hampshire. It's in August. Yeah. So, and that is a pretty decent sized event. It's about 600 people. It's totally different. Like it would be, I definitely know some people that have done both, and it's just totally different. Like the one out here, ours is a camping event, literally in the middle of like a field in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, we have to bring in all of the infrastructure. We have to bring in the water and the toilets and every single part of it. And out there, it's in a fairground. So there's buildings and there's RV hookups, and it's a lot more, I like to call it a lot more East Coast.
That sounds right. Yeah.
We have cold showers. They have showers that are warm for a period of time during the day. You know, it's definitely different. The riding's different. Just because, you know, the mountains are different out. Everything's just totally different. It's beautiful riding, and it's really cool. But a lot of the programming we try to do in the same kind of way, but it's definitely a totally different event. And then we also have one in October called Touratech, and this will be the second year this year. First year we had almost 500 people. So it's going to be a fast grower. We work with Austin Moto Adventures on that, and the team down there. A couple of them are actually going to be at the event in a couple of weeks up here, but they do a killer job, and it's on this big, you know, massive property out there. The whole event takes place on this one property, and you can do multiple rides, and it's really cool. It's very different. It's hotter. Yeah, it's about half hour, 45 minutes outside of Austin. So it's really cool. And so we're excited to be a part of that as well. It has been fun building those two events for sure. So
this one, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. So Critter Moto, if you don't know who he is, he's based up in Canada. He's started this event called Get Lost, Find Yourself, which is a nonprofit fundraiser event for men's mental health, and Heads Up Guys, which is a really big Canadian organization that's focused on men's mental health. He runs his own smaller little events up there every year. He's been doing it. I think this is the third or fourth year he'll be doing it. So anyways, I say all that to say, can you send me the link to that tracker thing and I'll forward it to him?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a really long explanation.
Yes, I will send that. On the tracker thing, I also want to just mention to anybody that's never been, we also work with a company called ADV Medics, and they are an on-site, basically they set up a little, you know, walk-up clinic, honestly. And we want to know anything that happens, whether it's a bee sting, a bump, a broken bone. We really need folks to communicate to ADV Medics, because they can take care of you on site and at least get you to where you can go to the emergency room if you need more treatment. But we also need to be able to know what things happen at the event. And so it's really important for everybody to be communicating with our safety team. And if there's a problem up in the mountains, ADV Medics are all trained riders, and their motorcycles are there, and they get a call and they're up there.
And they're there pretty damn quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is the team that's going to be there this year. I think this is the third year for these guys, and they know the area. They live up here. It's a great company, and we've been with them like right after they started business. They're out of Oregon, and they'd reached out and said, hey, would you guys be interested in having us there? And they came up, and it's really like they're everywhere now. They're doing events all over the country, and it's really become a cool, it's been cool to watch them grow. They're great.
Speaking of, while we're just on the topic of medical things, and because I've got one and I'm happy to promote it and make sure that as many people can be prepared as possible. For those planning on going, if you're thinking about getting a first aid kit, one, definitely do. Somebody in every single group should have a minimum first aid kit, if not a trauma kit. I have one I carried on my bikes, and I got mine from this place, Alpine Style ADV Products. They're on primarily Instagram right now. He's working on a full website, but Alpine Style ADV Products, really, really, really solid trauma kit for a really decent price. If you're on the fence about getting one, get in touch with them now, get it ordered, have it for the event. Everybody, at least one person in every group really should have, one, an InReach, and two, a solid first aid kit. Really preferably a trauma response, because you need certain things if certain things go really wrong. So,
and we've one of the medics from ADV Medics is actually, it's not on the schedule yet because we need to find a spot for him to do it, but he's volunteered to do a how to build the perfect first aid kit for riding, and so that's probably, it's going to happen.
That's a good one, yeah.
Over the weekend. So yeah, yeah. So it's important that people, you know, go into the equipment and stuff like that. It's just really important that folks understand that it's all fun and games until it's not, right? And a ride the best ride and the best day can take a turn quicker than you think it can. And it can be as simple as a blown tire, somebody coming around a corner, a deer, a coyote, it can be, anything can happen. And it has, you know, we've definitely had, crashes with that many people riding motorcycle. I mean, you know, it's funny, like when people cancel their event registrations, it's, you know, I really don't, you know, need to hear why they can't come, but a lot of the time they'll write like, my mom said I can't, you know, or whatever. And I one of these years I got to track it because I've never heard of a population with so many broken bones ever. Like, it's literally like once a day somebody broke something else, and it's when we get cancellations. And Touratech, by the way, sells first aid kits too. Ultralight, watertight.
There you go.
For as little as $32.99. You can have it at your house before the event. So
there's a subtle, was that even, were you even plugging anything? I couldn't even, that was so smooth.
You know, I'm a marketing guy.
Well placed. PJ Hogan wants to know, what's the single hardest part of making Touratech actually happen?
You know, honestly, it's the littlest detail stuff. Honestly, that other than getting insurance this year, it's the little detail things. It's like, it can be like the smallest, littlest, like if you think about, I kind of break everything when I'm planning into pieces. And so you've got gate A, gate B, the store, the video tent, the work tent, you know, parking, all of the volunteer stations. Like in every single one of those, our volunteer tent run by Owen, one of our Touratech guys. He manages the volunteers on site, but every single piece of it needs stuff. And so it's just like the littlest thing. Hey, we don't have zip ties here, or hey, are there any of these? And it's crazy, and you wouldn't think that, but there's so much of it that it you just keep running into it, you know. Oh yeah, this flag broke back here last year and it has to be replaced, you know, and just things like that, you know.
I was just gonna say, all those little things that you can't really plan until you've done it.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, do you have enough tape? Duct tape, man. Duct tape and zip ties. If you got duct tape and zip ties,
you can plan Touratech.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's just that little stuff, and then you know, it's working with people and trying to keep everybody in sync and on the same page. You know, our Touratech USA staff isn't very big, and they're all brought in to work at this event, you know, and they're all doing different jobs, and you know, and it's just it's a big ask.
That's another good question that falls under things that people might not know, because Touratech is a global company.
Right.
How many people do you guys have running all of Touratech USA?
All of
Roughly?
Touratech USA, let's see, 11.
If you don't know, another great follow-up. If you don't know, Touratech USA is located right in, not really down. It's not. Yeah, I would say southern. So yeah,
Yeah.
what is the specific neighborhood? Not Soto.
It's Soto. It's right between what's called Soto, which is South Downtown, and Georgetown.
But they're right there. They're right up the street from Georgetown Brewery, by the way.
Yes, we are.
But it is a small little building. You would think, when you think Touratech, like, for the longest time was like, oh yeah, like big corporation, big buildings, like huge. No, small little spot, 11 people working there, and they are running all of Touratech USA. It's really impressive.
Well, thank you.
Y'all are on it.
We work hard, and you know, we know that our brand is known nationally, and that's the challenge, is keeping it on that level, right? So go, Mark. No.
Yeah, it's all you, really.
Yeah, right.
Here's a weird but a valid question that I would not have even thought to ask. Let's say you break your leg and ADV Medic shows up and picks you up. Are they accepting all health insurance providers?
Well, they're not accepting payment.
Oh, well, there you go. So the answer is yes.
They're there to get you to a hospital. If you're in such a situation where you need help, they're there to, you know, hopefully stop bleeding or splint or whatever. But a lot of the time it's to stabilize you until an ambulance can get to you, or to get you to where an ambulance can get to you. That we had a med chopper last year, you know, I mean, that because somebody was going the wrong way at a high speed and slammed into somebody. You know? Yeah.
Is there a Touratech Canada?
There is a Touratech Canada.
There you go.
Not a rally, but there's a Touratech business up there for sure. So Google.
Oh, okay. Here's ADHD. Here's a follow-up weird question. Is Touratech a franchise by country?
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So it's based out of Germany, and then like every year we have like a summit where the big wigs from each of the countries go, and there's a big meeting with all the people in Germany. We call it the mothership, and you know, and that's it's all based out of that. Touratech USA kind of has grown at the same time as Touratech Germany, just because our Tom had connections with their original owner, Touratech's original owner, and kind of built the business parallel with each other and stuff. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're everywhere. So if you go ride your motorcycle through South America or Central America, you know, it's not like BMW dealerships or anything like that, but usually somewhere down there, you'll be able to find a Touratech if, you know, you need something that we can only get for you. So
yeah, unofficially Owen really wants a Canadian rally, but he also lives like in the Antarctic. So I don't know how far he's willing to travel.
Well, you know, I'm a event planning professional, man. So if you want to, I got during my slow time of year, you know, you want to, I'll make it happen for you.
The slow time, that's the Sunday after the rally to when you get back in the office Monday, right? Is the slow season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like December 15th through maybe the end of February or so, I guess. But
and shoot him an email. If you can plan an entire rally within about a 15-day period, he's willing to help.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's anything else you want to know from me?
I think we're good. A shameless quick plug. I'm presenting Saturday at 3. So if you want to come learn about kind of the bigger picture of like editing. So we're not going to get into specific software, but we're going to talk about like what matters, what doesn't, what to shoot, what not to shoot, kind of my mindset through shooting and editing. It should be a good time. We will get into some specifics about audio. So I do have some fun little make you really look like a pro tidbits, and it's not hard. So if you want to show up to that Saturday at 3, come hang out.
Everybody show up for it. It's going to be hot, be a nice shady place. You know, it'll be perfect.
I might have to shoulder a few people to see if we can get a keg just somewhere located in the general area of.
So, you know, Touratech does not provide alcohol at the event. All of any beer that happens to be served at the event is donated by specific vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how that happens is vendors say, I would like to donate a keg, and then they'll set it up in front of their booth each night. And we always ask if that doesn't happen until riding is through for the day.
I'm going to go really bully Spencer over at Touratech.
There you go. There you go. And I wrote this down because you'd asked me if we had any really bad oh shit moments. And so I wrote a couple down, and I thought I'd share them with you.
Yes, please.
Okay. So the first one happened like 6 years ago, and we had a brand new, just bought 100 miles on it Mercedes Sprinter van, all Touratech'd out with the wrap and the whole thing. And I have a friend, a personal friend, who's a teacher, and he had sent out a thing saying, hey, does anybody have any like cool seasonal work to do? And I said, hey, dude, I'm doing this event. At the time it was in Pennsylvania. I'm like, we're doing the Touratech Rally in Pennsylvania. You want to drive our motorcycles and a bunch of my stuff across the country? And he said, yeah, that'd be awesome. And so we got them all packed up, took off down the road, and like 3 days later, it was a Sunday, and I got a phone call, and he's like, hey man, something's wrong with the van. And we're like, he's in Oklahoma. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong with it? He's like, it's running really weird, and I'm on the freeway, and it's stopping and starting. And so I'm not sure how he worked it out, but he ended up getting it towed to a Mercedes dealership on Monday after he had to walk like 2 miles to find a hotel. And he'd put regular fuel in the diesel tank.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But the good thing about it was the car was so new, they could still, like, nothing had been totally damaged. And so it only cost us a few $100s to like get some rinsing thing.
Really?
Done, and he was back on the road. And then when he got to the event, we all flew in and did this event out there, and the back end of this major storm had come out of Florida, and it hit us on day 2 of the event. And it was the craziest. Like, I live in the Pacific Northwest. We have storms, but not like other parts of the country, right?
Not like the East Coast.
And it was like, I've never seen rain like that. And it was like 20 minutes and everything turned black and the sky was green. And we had pop-up tents and vendor tents. Everything was just blowing and destroyed and smashing into cars. And so then it was over, and I like look over in the field, and all of the porta potties were down, like laying on their faces down, except for one, like right in the middle of the field. And we're like, guess which one everyone was using? That one, because it had to have been full. But it was the craziest, like, it was bizarre. And everyone was soaked. Like, this giant dumpster we had was filled with tents, and we just gave all our dry swag away. And we're like, here's t-shirts. And, you know, that was wild. So
a point of compliment that I want to give you/whoever specifically upgraded the routine of pumping porta potties. For my regular crowd, they're well aware, and anybody who's been to an event with me, I'm not a fan of porta potties.
Yeah.
They were pleasant the whole event the last time.
Look, man, we
Thank
really
you.
We really try. We really try. Somebody always complains. People complained last year, but there's 55 of them out there. Okay, there's 55
for 1,400
toilets,
people.
and we try to. And what I always tell people is, if you just get away from the big bank where there's like 7 or 8 of them lined up and just look around, and probably off someplace you might see one just standing there, and that one's probably the best. But we have them.
There are some sneaky porta potties.
There are.
Mm-hmm.
We call them staff potties.
Mm-hmm.
And but we really try to keep that in mind. But the problem is like they come and it takes a few hours for them to get through the property and empty everything and clean it. And so do we do it first thing in the morning when everybody's up and trying to get ready to go and needs to take their morning dump or whatever? No. So if we do it in the middle of the afternoon, then by the end of the evening, then they're all dirt. People have been using them, and then all these people are like, your toilets are all dirty, and it's like there's no perfect way to do it. So they come like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're there from like 2 to 5, and it's the best that we can do, folks.
Regular pump schedule. I can pinch it until it's a fresh, clean, empty porta potty.
I'm right there with you, brother.
I'm here for it.
Right there with you. And another actually hygienic thing that we're doing this year. It's probably going to cause some trepidation. I'm expecting it. So I'll just say it out loud now, is we're trying, our garbages get so full of paper towels. So what we're doing next to all the banks of toilets are hand sanitizer this year. If you need the water wash, there's going to be these giant water washing hand stations near the food trucks, but everything actually by the big porta potty banks are just going to be hand sanitizer. So I'm sure somebody's going to have a problem with that, but it's just how we're going to do it this year and see how.
If you just isolate all the BMW riders into one space, you won't have any problems.
Or just wear your motorcycle gloves at all times. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get poop on the motorcycle gloves.
Like you never have. Come on.
Man. Sean and Ashley, show up to every live. 100%. Yeah. Don't be rude and gross.
Don't be rude and gross. Don't leave beer bottles in them.
Yes.
You know, it's like it can, if it rains, there may be a little bit of mud on the ground, but if everybody's just polite and keeps things clean, then they'll stay clean. But we do the best that we can with the porta potties, folks. And
you're doing great.
Thank you.
Listen. Let me. Oh, he disappeared. The one time I was gonna. It's If there's any one person that can attest to my love-hatred situation of a clean/dirty porta potty,
we'll go for a ride. And go find the rest.
I do too, man. One of the reasons I hate crowds, right?
It was great. I was very happy last year. So ADHD said, "Hey, compliment the guy that probably coordinated it."
And if you find me, anybody that finds me and says, "Hey, where's there a good porta potty I could use?" I'll tell you if you don't tell your friends.
They will, though. They always ruin it.
I'm hard to find. So.
That's because you're in the clean porta potty.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the dark in my hotel room just staring at the wall. So
if you need me, radio me. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go have a nervous breakdown.
Exactly.
Matt Lewis, you have been so kind with your time. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. It's cool to really look behind the curtain sometimes on events. So I am so excited for this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm stoked to meet you and look forward to doing this. And I'm glad we did. And excited to see you at the event, man. And see how
it'll be a good time
and everything. And thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks up in Plain, Washington, right?
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun.
All right. Cheers.
All right. Well, we'll let you get out of here. I'm gonna bring this guy on the stage. Okay, carry the show for the rest of the time because I don't know what else to talk about. Just kidding, guys. Let's just transition gears real fast. Share screen. Okay. So I'm not a fan of the idea of the EV adventure bike just because I'm strictly here to talk about the range when we get on the EV adventure bikes. I don't want to get into it. I think it's a great thing. If they could make it 250 miles, 300 miles, how are you going to argue about electric torque? That's not what we're talking about. I will say the one thing I will say with this EV bike before we get into the 750, I am so here for the gold wheels and the gold forks. It looks so good. It's so good. That looks so good. But this 750 is also a tasty situation, and I can't quite place what it is I really love about it. But it has this sort of like, I don't even know, like not vintage. I don't know. I just like the look. Thoughts, small man?
I can't really tell much with that picture.
God damn it. Why did I bring you on?
You're showing it.
Oh, here's a good one.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's the idea of the Himalayan is the vintage look.
Yeah, right. Like it's not vintage, but it is kind of this like vintage, rugged,
right? No,
simple. Like I'm curious. They have dual disc brakes up front, and the 650s for the Royal Enfields are single. So this might have a spicy motor. I'm super curious about that. I'm trying to get my hands on one of these because neat.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of information right now. They're still kind of developing. These are like development model, not production, pre-production still. Yeah. But I do love me a good set of gold rims. That EV does it looks neat. Anyways, that's that. All right, that was the one thing that I had to talk about. That's what I thought. Owen says no way they do a 750 single. Let me share it again because I thought that, and then I was like, no, I don't. I'm probably wrong. But the look of, hold on, let me go back to that profile is a good one. It looks like a single cylinder motor, right? That's what I was thinking. I'm not wrong in this assessment, correct? That feels like it would be rattly, unless they might have like a 2 pistons side by side situation, maybe. I don't know a whole lot about Royal Enfield's motors. So maybe that's like a dual, is there a front view?
Can we see exhaust?
Oh, the exhaust would be a good tell, right? No, it's not a good tell. Let's try and find a good front picture. It looks like one. Nope, there's 2.
Dual exhaust, yep.
It is dual exhaust, so on this side and this side. So it's 2 pistons right next to each other. It's not opposed. That's a parallel twin, correct?
Yeah.
Not a V-twin? I think so.
That's what they look like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, entertain the people. You know what time it is.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about this.
I made it in an hour and a half. I'm really proud of myself.
Right there. You did it, Critter. What's everyone having for dinner tonight? I just ate a bunch of cookies. I think I'm gonna have dinner. I think I'm just doing dessert today. We bought food. It's for movie. Right on. What he did, he held it. I'm sure he was probably over there squirming for like the last 45 minutes. BLT. Oh yeah. Chicken and what kind of chicken? Breaded chicken, chicken breast, chicken thighs.
So to our few new viewers.
How long were you over there squirming?
Did you explain the pee breaks to him?
It's
a thing.
No.
Sometimes I gotta pee. So
we did joke about it. You were probably squirming for the last 45 minutes.
I was very dialed in. It's funny, you know what is a funny thing is as soon as I got up and walked away, I realized that as soon as we let him go, my ADHD was like because I had hyper focused so hard on not screwing anything up. Guys, I'm so excited about Touratech this year.
I think you need a pee bottle. Hold it under the desk there.
What?
You're in the garage. What would happen if
we will discuss some funny thoughts that I had before this live that might pertain to that. if you are new here and you are new to Touratech, for real though, come find me. I'm not to be missed. And if you see the logo up there in the top corner, I got a jersey with that on the front and back.
No.
Come find me. Ow.
Okay.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm super excited. What's happening with you? How was mopping? Let's talk about mopping for a second. So you went to Moppin' Madness. I had to forego this year because we had a pre-existing commitment for a wedding, which was a lot of fun. But I really wanted to go and I couldn't. Tell me all about it.
It was amazing riding out there. It's funny because you go to Eastern Oregon and you see some hills and you see lots of flat. But we would go for 5 or 10 miles going towards the hills.
Ew.
19 front? No.
Is it?
I don't know. But you'd be going across this flat area towards the hills, and then all of a sudden the road would just drop down and you'd be twisties along this river that you didn't see. It was just amazing riding it there. We did go to a couple of
Bye, Owen.
ghost towns.
Ooh,
Had like 14 people living in them.
that's neat.
There's a documentary on Netflix about the Rajneeshis, this religious cult thing that was out there. We drove through where their compound was. It's now owned by a church, I believe, a youth group or something like that. But
Did they try and abduct you?
no, it was weird because you would
Disappointing.
before there were like all these brand new buildings and you'd see these brand new cars, but you wouldn't see anybody. It's just like they knew people were coming, so they all went inside or something like that.
Sketchy, sketch factory.
But yeah, there's a Netflix documentary about the Rajneesh religious group, and we drove through there. That was kind of interesting. And then the Painted Hills National Monument is out there, and that was really cool.
Sorry, I see the 390 comments. in the chat.
That, for those that don't
We
know,
have a group chat. The 390 is something of a point of contention between certain people.
a couple of people in that group that about the power versus the weight versus.
Oh my lord! Just go ahead. Pay attention. Watch who gets all spicy in the chat, and you'll know what's happening in our other group chat.
There you
Here
go.
he comes. So mopping was dope. So there's not designated like tracks, routes, whatever. There is a poker run.
There's a poker run. They had I think it was 8 different tracks.
Also,
They
they do have tracks. Oh, okay.
So if you had the Reaver app, they had a QR code on the printed tracks that you could take.
What is mopping for? Let's talk about that for a second.
So Maupin is a little town in Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and it started out as like a Harley poker run rally kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the adventure bikes kind of jumped on it because it wasn't designated just cruisers. So some of the ADV bikes got onto it. And so now it's a little bit of both. There's routes that are all paved, like the poker run. There's gravel routes. Can you hear that?
No.
My wife.
We're not all wondering what she's yelling at the dogs about. Or the neighbor, who knows. But the event itself, Moppin' Madness.
It's a fundraiser for veterans groups.
Uh-huh.
And this year,
VB40.
last year, it was for Veterans Back 40. So
Oh, do they rotate who they give it to?
they did in the past. I think the last
Okay.
years it's been VB40. Maybe it might have been more than that, but I don't know if they knew about Veterans Back 40 before that. So it was different organizations.
But yeah, Veterans Back 40, if anybody doesn't know. If anybody doesn't know, it's a nonprofit that supports veteran active duty. Really, the whole core is getting guys out riding, enjoying a day, making new friends, and then getting that time either, during lunch or around a campfire or whatever to really open up and talk about, like, how are you doing? Because if you are a veteran, you understand, like, talking to a therapist or a counselor or other people who haven't been in the shit or dealt with the shit or PTSD or whatever, like, they don't really fucking get it. So there's no point in really talking about it because they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, okay. VB40 really facilitates that conversation of like, no, bro, literally, how are you doing? Like, I couldn't find a USB cord and punched a hole in the wall. How are you doing? Like, we get it. We've been there. We've been through that shit. So I and Corey are kind of the Washington ambassadors for VB40, and we're trying to facilitate rides and really grow the community up here. But it's a really cool group. So it's exciting to be a part of, having gone through that. They're the group that really helped me realize the shit that I was going through. So yeah, Moppin's the biggest fundraiser of the year for VB40 right now. 100% I'm going next year. That's going to be the new season opener for me. I'm here for it. Okay, what are we talking about over here in the chat that hopefully is not about the 390?
There's a little bit about the 390. There's a little bit something about the Himalayan. But yeah, Critter, that was some of the routes that we took were ones that you and Ian had been on, and he did mention that. The Sam Barlow Trail. So funny thing was that I store my bikes outside. I don't have a garage or anything to store them in, so they're all the time. So I think it was Friday, our Friday ride. We were going to go do the Sam Barlow Trail, me, Mike, and Ian, and we were going into town to get some coffee and some breakfast real quick, and going across this just a little bump on the bridge. The bike shut off. Okay, got it. It's a DCT, so you have to roll to a stop before you can turn it back on. You can't just kick it back on while it's rolling. So starts back up, no problem. We get to the coffee shop, talk about it. Then we leave the coffee shop. We go about 5 miles out of town. It does the same thing, but as a roll into a stop, the DCT is trying to downshift, but it gets stuck in third. So we spend the next half an hour trying to do a DCT reset, trying to get the bike to go back to neutral so it can start back up. And by that time we finally did, it was a whole ordeal. And I'm like, you guys go do the ride. I'm going to go back to camp. I'm going to get this thing figured out because I don't want to ride again tomorrow. And I don't want to get stuck out in the bush, 80 miles down a dirt road. So they're like, well, no, we can all go back. It's like, no, I don't want that guilt on me. Now nobody's going to go ride because Corey doesn't take care of his bike. So no. Went back, cleaned up that ignition.
It was just a little issue.
Just a little. That's all. Just a little.
Okay, so let's see. You did that. I took the Surepacks on legit friggin' off-road, guys.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did surprisingly well. It might have been what almost killed me once or twice. But that seems like a small percentage for the shit that I put it through and how well it seemed to do. There were a couple of really gross, nasty, ruddy sections. I was not comfortable with, but I did it because what the fuck am I going to do? I'm here. It seems to really track the line that the bike takes well. I was hell no.
Hey, you put yours, I'll put mine. We'll have no weight in the back. We'll go.
No weight.
Imagine
extra
how
death
with no weight in it.
Is there well, no, I guess not, because you would have more weight. I was gonna say, is there an off weight comparison for the smaller bike to the bigger bike? But mine is actually the smaller bike, even though it's the bigger bike.
Whatever.
260 pounds, 500cc bike. Anyways, no, don't do it. I see you reaching for the mouse. Just because you have the control doesn't mean you should use the control. Where are we at? We're at 7:38. Guys, we're going to wrap up at 8 o'clock. If you are not on Le Patreon, don't forget that I have a Patreon. Patreon members, we are getting together at 8 o'clock. We're going to hang out for a little bit longer. You're welcome. This is not a live in the sense of like being online. This is just an online hangout. So if you want to get onto video and actually like hang out and ask questions or just hang out in the chat, anybody on Patreon at this current point is welcome into that. Sign up, little as $5 a month. Every little bit helps. I'm pretty sure you guys have bought now a set of tires, travel for a day on this most recent Olympic adventure. So it really, really helps. I really appreciate it. It's,
What kind of tires?
Well, obviously another set of twats. Picked up a set of Tusk Waypoint Adventure tires. I'm really in love with these tires. I'm not disappointed in the least. I got at least 7,000 miles out of the first set for $137 for the set.
Or the set, not a tire.
For the set. And I put them through fucking everything the last year. Mud. I think I just got them on for the snow and ice. What does that even mean? ADHD ridden, I'll take it. Mud, rocks, sands, normal dirt, gravel, fucking pavement. Surprisingly good on pavement. There is no vibration. I have leaned that 501 way further than I have any business leaning it in the corner on pavement, and they have held really well. I'm very impressed with these tires. I'm obvious, so much so I bought another set. So it's actually set 3 because there is a set of twats on the girlfriend's tires, or the girlfriend's bike. So highly recommend. This is not a paid advertisement. I just like good shit. What else? Oh, well, we'll wait. We'll wait for that one. I got a couple of partnerships in the works. But I will say I am working with Coopville Coffee Roasters guys to make a custom Tall Man Moto coffee blend. It's going to taste like sadness, frustration, and regret. So get ready. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be good. I'm thinking probably like a medium roast. We'll see. But that's just a thing that I wanted to do because I thought it would be fun. So that's happening. Another exciting thing is happening, but I've got to work on a couple more things just to make sure. That's about it. That's what's happening in the Tall Man Moto world. And I'm presenting at Touratech. Guys, I'm fucking presenting at Touratech. How crazy is that? Like, what? I'm so excited. Probably no. Never decaf. No. Never ever. Kufo Coffee Roasters probably has decaf. Never ever a decaf blend. Shut up. How much did you pay for just your rear tire? Also, I will say if I really wanted to push them, they're at like 25% tread still. I don't like running below about a quarter tread. I like fresh tread.
Mike needs a new front. Remember the ramping that I had on my, which bike was that? I can't remember which tire we did, but the front middle
where
tread,
it was like this,
the ramping. Yeah, but it was like backwards than you would expect because the way the spins, he's got the same thing. And
he needs to buy a set of I don't know if they're meant for big bikes though. I mean, a 90, 90, 21. I say all that to say I don't know what the load ratings are.
Sawtooth, that sounds
I
right.
bet you if there's a 99, there's a 90, 90, 21, and then mine's whatever the standard 18 rear is. I bet you those sidewalls are stiff as fuck. Like, that is the stiffest sidewall I've put on any tire ever onto a wheel. Ugh. Yeah, I expect all of the heckling.
And we will be live streaming it, so those that can't attend,
I will be. Thank you. If you can't make Touratech, we are going to be live streaming the presentation. So basically everything Corey just said, I'm just going to re-say it so that I'm the one saying it. Somebody's generous enough to bring a Starlink along so we can set it up. And
the the hat. There's a company that makes an adapter for the Starlink Mini that I can plug it into my DeWalt batteries, because I said a couple $100 in batteries. My wife laughed at me. I probably have over $1,000 in DeWalt batteries, but it's an adapter plate, so you can take the Starlink Mini and you can run it off DeWalt batteries. There's an adapter plate for Milwaukee batteries. So,
are those all 6 amps that you have?
I have several 6 amp hour batteries.
Those are the good ones. That's what we run the blower with.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We got the leaf blower out there. You
Yeah,
out
the
there
big old leaf blower.
Sunday morning at 8 a.m. blowing.
Hey, you got to get out there and blow them leaves in the grass. There's we have a neighbor who I am absolutely in love with. This guy named Mikhail. He was out the other day with his leaf blower. It's the exact same one that we've got. And so he's like, and I just waited until he just, and I was like, ming, ming, ming. But he wouldn't look over and notice me, and I was so mad about it because I was standing in the most ridiculous pose. I'm definitely settling into living on a cul-de-sac and being in my late 30s and loving wearing jean shorts. I'm settling into the most dad phase of my life, and I'm here for it. I'm just like, oh yeah, so you got a DeWalt blower, and then it's like, hold it up. Oh my god, guys, I'm about to be really worried about the quality of the lawn.
It really was. But yeah,
you get a long life off a couple of batteries.
Yeah, the 2 batteries. I think I got. Well, we shared it over a couple of days. I think Thursday and Friday. I think we had, but you turn it off and on when you don't have to have it on all day. But I think I got about 6 hours of runtime off of the 2 batteries. So,
also, speaking of Starlink and Touratech and live streams, isn't somebody live streaming their normal live stream from Touratech?
Somebody is going to do their Friday live stream from the field. They're cooking dinner.
I can think of at least 3 people here that won't be there. So there will be people.
There will be. Yeah.
There will be people who can't make it to Touratech.
And make it to Touratech and come and eat.
If you're completely, you're going to have unexpected, unwanted guests on your live. Just in the background. So if anybody's completely unaware, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's him. It's Mighty V360. So go like and subscribe and watch his live streams. He does camp cooking, if anybody hasn't seen it, and it's fucking great. He talks about what can you make that's actually delicious while moto camping. Yum. Who is next weekend? Next Friday.
Chris?
Is that Chris?
This is next Friday.
Critter's next Friday. When is Motorcycles and Pancakes?
This was last week.
First Friday?
First Friday, yep. First Friday.
So bad with dates. I need to get that graphic and save it on my phone so that I have it ready to talk about.
Yeah,
Somebody
Friday.
put all the footwork in to care about us, and I'm over here just fucking trying to remember where my feet are.
First Friday is Motorcycle and Pancakes. Second Thursday is this guy. Third is Critter.
The
fourth Friday is me.
It's you.
And then every once in a while we find conflicts or extra weeks where there isn't anything, and then there's some weeks where there's going to be 2 people in a week, and
sometimes when hold on. Wait one. The dramatic pause here is intentional.
Oh, it's very dramatic.
Shut up.
What are we going to do?
You shut your mouth.
Dear Lord, maybe we should play some pee-pee song.
Don't try and make me laugh right now.
Yes, Chris, you're doing a live stream next week.
I'm not even going to look over there. Where the hell did it go? Look, I bet he deleted it, didn't he? Son of a bitch. God damn it, where
What are you looking for? Why?
Shut up. Don't act like you don't know.
I don't know what I
So
might have deleted. You're gonna bring up our messenger thing.
bitch.
Oh, I gotta go.
I just want to be clear, everybody.
I'll be right down
That's
there.
not me. Oh, he's got somewhere to go all of a sudden. This is Motorcycles and Pancakes and Small Man Moto. Just have a great time without me.
Yeah. We were. That was at the Painted Hills National Monument, and we were.
No. This was sent in our group chat, and of course, I was very dramatic about it. What in the hell? Oh, I gotta stop sharing the old. Oh God, yeah, I could get. I got some jokey friends. Painted Hills. It is a fun shot. I'm glad there was a big. Our group was well represented. I'm really bummed I couldn't go this year. Yeah. Painted Hills. How was that?
Beautiful. I think you probably find some pretty good pictures of it on like Instagram or Pinterest or something like that. But you're just driving, you're out in these hills, and it's the same rolling hills, the same color, and then all of a sudden these red lines of dirt, whatever, through the hills, and it's beautiful.
I'm 100% committed for next year. Ain't nothing stopping me. Guys, it is now 7:50. I would like to have a small break between this and the Patreon live, but if you would like to head on over to patreon.com/tallmanmoto, consider joining. I would greatly appreciate it. Even the baseline membership will get you into the live after the live. I have to come up with a cool name for it. Motorcycles and Pancakes calls his the Speakeasy, and I'm like, damn it, it's a good one. So no. Moist. God damn it, these fucking people. And ride the what?
Oh, we were talking so critters.
Oh, the ride 2.
Yeah. And then
real good, huh?
Yeah. And then they were.
Okay. Consider joining. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new here and you have not liked and subscribed, please strongly consider doing so. Go watch a few videos, leave comments, hit the like button on this live. I'm really trying to push the channel over the hump. So I'm not trying to hump the channel over the foot. You get the idea.
Humping the foot with the channel?
Oh my God. If we started a podcast, that's what we would have to call it.
Ding the dong.
Don't forget to ding the dong.
Moving along.
That was an early Tall Man Moto days phrase that I used to use and I don't anymore.
Adventure.
I feel like I need to get back into it. Well, it's in the outro video. I almost forgot. Guys, I have an outro for the lives now. It's very basic. It's very basic.
Let's see it.
It comes from I can't do it until we're over, but it comes from a podcast that I did back in the day. And I built this, and this is one of my favorite stupid simple things I've ever built. It's not my favorite thing, but anyways, the point is when it's done, you'll see. It's good. It's solid. Just a solid little wrap up. I'm going to go with no, Moist Oregon. I'm just going to go with no thank you, but it is a solid name. Not for me, though.
No.
Guys, as always, thank you so much for being here. Come find me at Touratech. I'm so excited to hang out with everybody because this is going to be the only big social event that I'm doing this year.
Don't come find me. I'm an introvert.
He's got to be right next to me the whole time.
You'll see
Unless
him.
Motorcycles and Pancakes is there, and then he might be gone. I love you all. You're all great. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Paul, I will see you Saturday. We'll talk about that later. Guys, it's going to be great, and I'm super excited. Come out. If you haven't got a Touratech ticket, if you're on the fence, do it. Come find me. I'm going to have a big 16-foot giant-ass Kelty tarp up so that we have shade the whole weekend. I will not be difficult to find in the field. You're all great. I love you, and I guess it's time to cue the outro.
We're done.
That's enough out of you!
Something tells me the show's over.
That's enough.
Goodbye.
Another job well done.